Well, yeah, that's it. So, okay, so you mentioned the whole who pays on the first date thing. So I want to just go around the table, get your take. Who do you think should pay on the first date?
On the first date, I think it should be men.
Them?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't mind like splitting it if anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if a guy asks you on the first date, maybe, I don't know, you get food, whatever, and he asks at the end of the date, hey, is cool if we split, or he asks for separate checks, are you going to feel a certain type of way about that?
No.
Okay.
I would say men for the first date, but I'm willing to split.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, I don't know. I mean, on a random first date with somebody I've never met before, I'd probably split it so that I don't feel like how Alex was saying, like I owe them to hang out with them again in case I decide I don't want to.
Sure.
Otherwise, I think whoever makes more money.
Whoever makes more money should
Yeah.
pay. Okay. And what about, so you mentioned on the first date, but what do you think about as the dates continue, second, third, fourth date? Is it just whoever makes more money?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I also think that, I mean, if you are somebody, if you're going to choose to go to some restaurant with me and it's, like, for example, I don't like Greek food. If we were going to a Greek restaurant, then I'd be hoping that like you would pay because I don't even really want to eat the food.
Sure.
So, you know, it's more for you.
Okay. Go ahead.
For the first day, honestly, I would split the check because, like what they said, what if you don't like them after all?
Sure. Luke?
I think it's whoever offers to take them out. So if, and again, I said this earlier, I think the guys mainly has the responsibility to go up to someone and ask them on a date. So in that case, I think a guy should pay. But if a girl comes up to you and says, hey, do you want to go out? I think it should be her obligation to pay because she's the one taking you out.
You guys agree with what Luke just said?
Yeah.
And then just to get you back in on this, so your stance is the guy should pay. Correct?
Yeah.
On the first date and then continue to pay, correct?
No. I think what I was saying was like, I think in the beginning, like the initial stages, I think like going 50-50 is like fine.
If it's just casual,
If
right?
it's casual,
but
right.
If it's
If
looking like it's more
dating,
serious,
yeah, then I think they should.
the guy should pay.
Well, I kind of think like, yeah, I think most of the time the guy should pay, yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, I guess it also depends on the dynamic and like in my past relationship, he definitely paid for like dinners or stuff like that, but I like paid for like groceries. So it depends on like the dynamic of the relationship. If you're like dating and you don't live together, then I think you can split it or divvy it up, whatever. But I think if you're in a relationship and you're doing, like if I'm cooking for you every night and you're not paying for it, like that's like, then take me out also. You know, I think that if you're like doing something, if I'm doing like your laundry, if I'm helping with like household chores and you're like not doing any of those things and you're also not paying for dinner, it's like there's no reciprocity. Like what am I getting out of this?
Sure.
So.
Although I mean it usually, to get to the point of living with someone, that usually is pretty I mean, it depends, but that's usually pretty far into a relationship.
Right.
So, I mean, like, let's say if that would otherwise typically happen, say, a year into a relationship, for that year period where you guys are not living together, so there's no shared household chores and there's no grocery shopping, for example. You each have your own places, etc. So what do you think under those circumstances?
That's usually like, I think it kind of like depends. It's like 50-50. I think it's kind of like what Luke was saying. If I'm like, let's go watch a movie and I'm picking the movie, it's like, I'm going to pay for it. Whereas, you know, if like he's like, let's go out to dinner, I think it's like, I would say it's more like 50-50 at that point. Depends on how serious you are.
Right. But I mean, at 6 months in, are you not ever asking the guy out? Or is it always the guy saying, hey, let's go get dinner?
No, I think I asked the guy out.
And then
I
you'll
paid
pay
for dinner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're in a long-term thing? When it's getting kind of long.
It depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. Oh, yeah, it definitely depends. Okay, so Well, it's kind of interesting because a lot of you guys, when I asked earlier, a lot of you said you were feminists, right? You believe in equality. But it's interesting when it comes to paying for the first date, you want the guy to pay. So how do you reconcile being in favor of equality but also holding men to their traditional gender roles?